Believe it or not, but this little 1-foot RGB LED tube has more tricks up its sleeve than you can shake a stick at. For those of us that spend our lives behind the camera, there is one truth we learned very, very early on, and that is that we are painters of light. What's so awesome about the last couple years is the LED revolution has just exploded and given us so many more paintbrushes and options that we can go and chase our creativity in however we want to do it. And this right here is the Weeylite K21, and I would say this is one light that is definitely going in my paint palette. Now, full disclosure about this, Weeylite did contact me and ask me if I would be interested in reviewing this. They did send me over a unit. However, they cannot review what I say, and they asked me just to give them a completely honest review of this product, and that's what I'm doing. Now, the Weeylite K21 RGB LED light stick is a 1-foot long LED, and it is RGBW. It's got 8 watts of power, and it's got a max output of 670 lumens at about a ½ meter, and it's got a CRI of greater than or equal to 97. So it's a really, really good little light. And the first thing you notice when you pick this up is it has a lot of light in it. I mean, you really feel those 670 lumens. Now, whenever I'm looking at a little accent light like this, I always can't help but think about comparing it to the gold standard of accent lights out today, and that is the Aputure MC. And if those of you that are wondering about it, this really, I think, holds up really, really nicely against an Aputure MC. The first thing is the price. This is $69.99 versus $90 for an Aputure MC. And the other thing that I really love about this, I use Aputure MCs all the time as accent lights, and I always find myself setting 2 in a row because I want to have a bigger spread of light. And this right here, it gives me a much greater spread than I get from a single Aputure MC. So $69, where I usually need to get 2 $90 MCs to get the same thing, that's $180 to get the same spread of light versus $70. That right there puts this thing very, very close to it. The other thing that's really good about this is the light output really, really goes toe-to-toe with an Aputure MC. Now, if you're wondering what you get in the box, it's pretty simple. You get the light and you get a USB-C cable. That is it. It's pretty bare bones. That's what you get. That's pretty much what you need. Now, if we want to break down what this light is, it feels really good in your hands. I've actually used a lot of LED tubes, and you're always worried you're going to break them or snap them. The first thing you do when you pick them up is this thing does have a very nice, solid construction. I mean, it's not like I wouldn't go smash it against a wall or try anything like that, but this thing does have a really good, robust feel. I feel it's well constructed, and it's going to last a long time. Now, another thing about this that I absolutely love is this. It is not a tube. It actually has angled sides. And what's great about this is it's got little 45 angles. And why these angle sides are so awesome is because you're often using these as accent lights. You're hiding them on the floor, putting them in a bookshelf like that, and you don't want to have to worry about the thing rolling over on you. What's great about this is you can set it at a 45 and it'll give you a nice 45 angle and it's not going to roll around. I cannot tell you how many times I've used light tubes in the past that I find myself finding like things of tape or bookmarks or anything else I can put there to try and get it at the angle I want. This having the 45 ridge angle built into it is just absolutely fantastic. I think that's actually one of my favorite things. Really, really well designed. Now, the other thing that you need to know about this is it's got 2 very powerful magnets here on the light itself. And I got to be honest, these magnets right here rival the Aputure MC. I've dealt with lots of lights, especially when you deal with cheaper lights. The magnets are there, but you can't really rely on them. These things are solid. And now on each side, it's actually got a 1/4-inch screw on each side, so you can screw from the top and get that in there. It has an internal 2500 milliamp hour internal battery, and I was able to do a very, very non-scientific test, but at 100% power, I was able to get right about 1 hour and 8 minutes at full power. So you can go a long time with this battery, especially because I find you're going to be using these things not at 100% power, which is really, really nice. The other thing I really like about this is it's got a really nice diffused front panel here on the front. And what's great about that is these tube lights, they do spread the light out in a vertical format, and that diffusion is just nice in case you need to use it as like a short key or something like that. Now, if you look at the back of the light, you can see it's got a very, very intuitive user interface. Now, basically, there are 4 main settings on this light. You have a CCT, you have an HSL, you have an RGBW, and you have an FX settings. Now, these are all things that I would pretty much expect now in just about any RGB light you get, but one thing I really appreciate about this light is the customability of these lights. Every single one of these main settings has at least 3 parameter settings that you can adjust. So you can look here on the CCT, you can jump down between intensity, color temperature, and it's got a red-green color shift in it, which is really, really nice to have. If you use LEDs, you know a lot of times that sometimes the color can shift over time. Having this red-green color shift built into there is great. I'm not quite sure why it's not magenta green. There may be a transition thing, but either way, it still gets you an ability to shift your color temperature if you need to on there. And what I love about this is you can see, look how fast it goes. I'm just dialing up. It really goes. You can see I'm going up from 100 all the way back down to 15, 12%. And you can see it's just really smooth. If I want to change my color temperature, I can change my color temperature right there. Now, the CCT does go from 2500 Kelvin to 8500 Kelvin. And really what I'd say about the CCT on this, if you're staying between a normal 3200 and 5600 Kelvin, the color rendition is really, really nice. I think if you push it a little bit past that 3200 down to 25 or up to 8500, your colors will get a little bit off. But at the end of the day, I've never used those lights for skin lights anyway if I'm shooting that kind of crazy colors, but it's just something to know. Now, if you come here to HSL, you can see the same kind of thing. Once again, you have intensity, you have your color shift, and once again, you can see just how fast I can shift through the colors here, which is really, really nice. Get through all the colors. Now, the other thing I really like about this is you do have a saturation level. So I've got this really crazy purple light here, and I can come down, and if I want just a touch of purple, you can see I can just kind of dial that in and get exactly what I want from it. Really, really nice. Now, if I come over here to RGBW, once again, I can dial in individual color channels that I want, and this includes an R, a G, a B, a white, and a yellow channel. So you really can basically dial this in any way you want. Now, if you come here to the effects panel, there is an insane amount of effects on this thing. There's actually 29 different scene effects on this light. And what's great about this, it doesn't just give you the intensity of the light and the effect. You can actually control the speed of the effect. So you can see here, I have this little emergency vehicle, and if I come here and check on speed, I can either make it fast or I can make it slow and do that. And if I cycle through my different effects, you can see there are so many different effects on this thing that it's really crazy. Lightning is a really good one. You can do a slow lightning effect like this, or you can go in the lightning effect and make it really fast. So as you can see, this light just gives you a lot of flexibility in there. And this thing is bright. I'm going to go ahead and shift this thing on up here to 100%. And you can see just how bright this thing is. This thing packs a heck of a lot of punch. What's good is you could put it off camera on something like this and just give your characters really, really interesting highlights if you needed them in your piece. So tons of power in this light. I really do like just how versatile this light is. All right, and another thing that I consider an absolute essential component of any LED light today is the ability to control it wirelessly. Let's be honest, we put these things in weird spaces for a reason, and we can't really be climbing up there and getting to it. I need to be able to control it wirelessly. It's just something that I expect and demand now from any light I get. And the good news is, this Weeylite K21 actually has an incredible little app that comes with it. Now, if you are getting the app, I recommend you get the Weeylite Pro app. If you get the regular Weeylite app, it's not going to give you all the tools that you need. You need to get the Weeylite Pro if you want to unlock it all. Now, the good news is, once I come in here, I am recording it, and as you can see, it's just got all the features. And what I love about it is you can see it's got an instantaneous reaction. It instantly connects. Literally, this is the easiest app I've ever hooked up with a light ever. I've used Aputure, I've used Godox. I've actually never had an app connect to a light as easy as this little Weeylite. I love this app. I wish all the other apps worked this nice. I was really happy, and I love the fact that I get an instant readout. I don't have to sit there, move it, and wait. I know exactly what I'm getting. And it really unlocks all of what you need this light to do. The other great thing is if you look here, it's actually got things like the color temperature, the HSL, the RGB. But what I really think is cool is it's actually got a color picker. So if you click on the color picker, you can actually come and pick any light you need to, and the light will go on it. And I just think that is so cool. I mean, having that color picker is a really, really cool trick, and it worked pretty well when I was doing it on my phone earlier. So the app on this thing is absolutely awesome. It actually brings in a ton of power to this light. Now, it is a $70 light, so if I had to say there are any drawbacks to it, for me, the biggest drawback is actually where the charging plug is on the back of the light. They put the charging plug here on the back of the light, and the problem with that is if you ever want to lay this thing down flat or you have it against the ceiling, you can't charge it if you need to charge it at the same time. That's just kind of I kind of don't like that. That's kind of annoying. I always like charging plugs on my tubes to be on the side, so I'm not limited by where I can put it. That is a design flaw that I wish wasn't there. Not a huge deal breaker because the battery's so good on this, but it is something to be you need to consider if you are using this in places where you're sitting down flat or need to have that flat back to it. Only other drawback I would say, and this isn't really a drawback, it's just more a thing for me. This thing puts out a great amount of light. That'd be really cool if there's like a little grid or something that came with it. I haven't found one like that, but if they had a little grid I could put on there just to completely control the light, it'd be pretty cool. But all in all, I'm actually super, super impressed. This light is definitely going into my kit from here on out. I love the form factor. I love how versatile it is. I love that I can put this on there, and I love that the magnets are so strong on this. And really, I've just got to say, this is one of the more impressive lights I have come across that's not an Aputure. And I've been really happy with the Godox too, but I'll be honest, I've never really played with Weeylites before, and I think I'm going to start checking them out more because this is a very, very solid budget light. And if you're looking to save money and still get a good light source, yeah, I would say this is definitely worth checking out because this could definitely be something that could help you do a little more creative and have a little more fun. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you have to say about this. Please give me any comments if you have anything down below. And yeah, go out there, keep on shooting, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon.